Hello everybody, CryptoChaperone here. Today I'm going to be talking about the coins that are on sale, cryptocurrencies, altcoins that you can possibly pick up right now during all this time of altcoin deflation and everybody pulling their money out of altcoins and all the other ICOs that they've put their money in that have now hit the market, and they're trying to pull their money out as fast as they can so they can get into this whole Bitcoin to pick up the Bitcoin gold during this whole forking situation. So I'm going to go through some of my favorite coins that you can possibly pick up at the moment. Not necessarily right now at this second, but you might want to watch out for them over the next week or so, because I think they're still going to drop a little bit. Bitcoin is on a rocket right now, going upward. But it's crazy how the market cap's literally gone up like 20 million or $20 billion in like 2 days. Back here, let's go look in a 7-day chart. If we go back to just Thursday, so $155 billion market, and our max point was $174 billion. So about $20 billion has entered the market. Has entered the cryptocurrency market over a course of like 48 to 56 hours. And Bitcoin dominance is growing as well, which means a lot of money is going into Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin keeps rocketing upward, eventually it's going to start to plateau. And all these people aren't going to necessarily be pulling their money directly out of the market. They're going to be putting it into these alternative cryptocurrencies. And they're going to definitely be buying them at a cheap point. And if you want to get them at a cheap point and make a decent profit off of it, this would definitely be the opportunity. I think this might be also one of the last chances that a lot of these cryptocurrencies might have a chance to live. As we also go into next year, there's supposed to be a lot more money coming into the crypto space, but I think a lot of people are going to start to learn how to do better research, and a lot of these companies are going to start to get weeded out as we go on too. So you're not going to have that many more opportunities at this point if you do hold one of these bad coins to really make a big profit off of it, I feel. But definitely the coins that do have a successful future and have a very solid platform to work on, they're going to be definitely booming, and they're going to be taking off and making people huge financial gains in the next upcoming 6 months. I've seen a lot of people talking about how they think that Bitcoin's going to be coming up to $10,000-$15,000 in the beginning, in the first quarter of 2018, and I think it's going to come up to probably about $10,000 before we even hit the year 2018. And I think that's a reason because you have holidays coming up, and just word of mouth, you have a lot of older people who aren't really into this kind of whole technical era. And even people like me, if you come across families and I start to tell family, hey, yeah, I invested $5,000 in this and now I've got $20,000, and over just the course of 6 months or something like that, and they start to realize, hey, that's like what I made like salary wise over 6 months. And you're like, yeah, I've kind of just been sitting around doing this, and they've been going to work every day, working a 9 to 5, and you kind of open up some people's eyes. And this is, I feel, going to be a big time where from now until probably April, when people start getting their tax returns and stuff like that, you're going to have people that are really researching it, finding out about it throughout the Thanksgiving into the Christmas season when a lot of holidays are happening. And then people are going to be dumping a lot of money into it when we get into the early 2018 sector. But I think just the interest alone around the holidays is going to boom this coin up. I think there's going to be possibly a major marketer or a major marketplace that's going to start accepting cryptocurrency, and I think it's going to really put a big it's going to put an advertisement on Bitcoin, and it's going to make it more world known than it already is. Because if you think about it, everything that I've read about Bitcoin says that Bitcoin is less than 3% known to the world. And the biggest places that it's really known in this point is in North America, China, and Japan. And other than that, there's a little bit that's known in the United Kingdom and all over that area, and a little bit dabbling through like India. But just the interest alone is very big in North America, like in the United States and China and Japan. And since China has put pretty much it's a restriction temporarily on cryptocurrencies and ICOs, it's definitely putting a damper on the market. But China is also only putting a temporary restriction on this market. So as soon as China puts all its pieces of its puzzle where it wants them to go, it's going to pull these restrictions and the markets are going to go crazy. And that is the reason why one of my cryptocurrencies that I feel is going to have a major boost is OmiseGo. Now, if you've been paying attention to OmiseGo at all, it gets a it gets a lot of media attention in the Asian area, out in China and stuff like that. And the reason for that is because recently, well, not recently, but I've heard that a big thing that it's going to happen with it is that McDonald's is actually going to start accepting it as a crypto platform, and it's going to accept it as a payment method. I think it's going to start happening in 2018, and that's why you have all these people like Cliff High and all the people that follow him and kind of talk about what he talks about. That's why he is making all these videos and talking about how OmiseGo, at least this is why I think so, is going to explode massive amounts in the next year or so. Because as soon as it starts getting accepted to McDonald's, it's going to start getting put back into the market. There's going to be more people even understanding what it is. You're going to have just regular McDonald's workers that don't know what cryptocurrencies are, and they're going to start learning about it. And just the population of China, it's just so dense that as soon as it starts hitting a small area like this, it's just going to flood. And it's already extremely well known in that area, but as soon as another place another establishment picks it up and starts marketing it as a payment option, it's going to go wild. So I think that right now at 825 or whatever it's at, 828, I think it's going to go a little bit lower, but I think this coin is potentially going to hit triple digits within the next 6 months, which means you can make 12, 13 times gains, 14 times gains off the next 6 months on this coin. I'm not 1,000,000% sure, but that's just because it's only getting a lot of negative market right now because of the bans in China. And that's also with Neo. Neo was up in like the $50 and up in the high 40s, and then all of a sudden the China ban came out and it just dropped down, and then it had a very minor pump up again, and now it's kind of just dropping down again. But that's just because there's so much FUD going on and people are very unsure of what's going to happen. But in reality, China has no reason to just take these off the table because they're missing out on so much possible revenue they could be making from this. They could be taxing every transaction that's going through, and they know that, and they're looking at all these citizens and all this money that's going to Japan, and they're definitely saying they don't want this to happen. So they're going to make it go through sooner than later, I think. That they're going to pull this whole restriction, and they're going to definitely put into place some limits of what they can and can't happen. There's going to be a few exchanges that I think are going to be allowed to process trades and buys and sells and all that. But it's definitely going to happen. And when it does, these Chinese coins are definitely going to pump again. So if we just look at today in general, since I pretty much have been talking about randomness this whole time, Bitcoin yesterday hit its new all-time high. It hit over $5,800. I think it hit about $5,850 was the all-time high that I saw, but that's ridiculous. $5,800, and this coin at one point was change. You couldn't invest, if you pay attention to my Twitter, I tweeted out, if you bought $1,000 in Google's IPO, which was $85 a share, and you held it to today, It wasn't necessarily today, but when I tweeted, I think it was like last week, your shares would have been worth after the stock split. So you would have had two shares of each. You would have had 11,000 some dollars of each, and then that would have split into like 23,000 some dollars. If you would have invested $1,000 at Bitcoin in April 2014 when it was hitting its low points, right after the whole GDAX situation, you would right now, well, at the point of my tweet, you would have had, I think it was like 20,000, 21,000 some dollars. And the difference was only 15%. So in the, like, what, 8 years that you would have been holding your, in the 10 years, because I think Google IPO'd in 2004. So in the 10 years that you would have been holding your Google stock longer before you even got your Bitcoin, and to this point, so you would have been holding your Google stock for 13 years, and you would have been holding that your Bitcoin for 3 years, and you would only have 15% more from that Google stock that you've been holding for 14 years or 13 years. And it's crazy. And now that Bitcoin's up to $5,600, the true breadwinner over that is Bitcoin. I guarantee it's taken place of the winner on that one. It definitely has a higher return of income now, because I think when I looked at it, it was only about $4,600. So it's crazy just to see this whole crypto market is booming, and eventually the more people that look into it, the more people are going to see how much money and potential there is for this to grow. And I saw a lot about how John McAfee, that created the McAfee security antivirus, how he said that he thinks Bitcoin is going to go to, I think it was like $500,000 or something a coin. And that's what he thinks. And then there was another investor, I think he was a Bitcoin investor, he might just be a Wall Street investor, and he said that Bitcoin, his prediction on it was going to be $23,975 or something like that by April 2018. And $23,000 compared to its market rate now, or its price right now at $5,600, is like a 4 times increase. So that means even people who are learning about this coin right now, who are seeing all this talk about it, they still are seeing room for a margin of increase of profit. Even at $5,600 for one coin, you can still make money, because this coin is going to become more than a currency. It's going to become a trend. And as soon as some big entity, company will pick it up, like Family Guy or South Park or anybody, I feel like one of them will just make an episode or something about it, and it's just going to boom. It's going to bring the knowledge to the masses. Not necessarily the knowledge, but the awareness, I guess you could say. Just it would advertise it, because just Ethereum alone, every time I look at Ethereum, if you've ever looked at my other videos, I've talked about how I bought a bunch of Ethereum when it was $6, and I sold most of my Ethereum by the time it hit $100. And then when it hit $500, I was really, really feeling a little sick, because I could have made 5 times what I had made, even though I made a decent amount. But now I'm still looking at Ethereum, and it's lost money, but it's growing over the past few days, and that's just because there's so much more money coming into this whole space. And eventually, as Bitcoin starts to level out, it's going to start to dip a little bit, and you're going to have all these altcoins. They're going to start to get pumped, because everybody's going to be moving their money into these altcoins. So aside from these Chinese coins, I think we're also going to see a massive rise in LiteCoin. Just yesterday alone, I think it went up like 16 to 18%. And it had a decent drop. I think it went up to like $60 and then dropped down like $2. But yeah, other than that, if you pay attention to how this coin was doing before this whole China situation came up, it was blasting off into almost $100. So I feel like this coin has real potential. If you want to make very fast transactions, there's no reason why you wouldn't use LiteCoin. Bitcoin, it's got fast transactions to confirm your transaction, but by the time your block gets verified and you get 2 or 3 confirmations, or 5 or 6, or however many you need, that could take upwards of an hour. LiteCoin, you could have all your transactions within a minute or 2. So if you're looking for a fast transaction and a fast payment method, you definitely would look towards LiteCoin. So that's why I think there's definitely going to be a rise in LiteCoin. Aside from those, you always want to pay attention to kind of the individual genres of coins, I'm going to say, that get pumped. If you've ever gone on Bittrex and you've noticed, I'm going to use, for example, like a privacy coin, like CloakCoin, Privex. What are some other privacy coins? Or Pivex, not Privex. Just any of these privacy coins, when they start getting pumped, there's normally all the privacy coins are getting pumped at once. And what happens is you can sometimes see 1 or 2 of them will start getting pumped, and then you can kind of get on the chain of it, like XVG or something like that. If you wanted to get onto a very cheap coin, you can maybe take the gains. It's a lot harder for those gains because you have a lot bigger sell walls. You have potentially $120,000, $130,000 sell wall you have to go through until you get up to your next 1 Satoshi. But 1 Satoshi could end up being 2 or 3%. So you might have to really be aware at times like that, because you could really lose some money if it collapses quick. But in bigger things like CloakCoin, you can really start to see when they do get pumped. You can kind of get onto that pump train if you want to take the chance with it, and you can build up a little bit of profits. Another one that I see quite often is like Dopecoin, THC, Potcoin, like all the coins related to the marijuana field of cryptocurrency. They all get pumped pretty often, and all as one group. So a lot of times what can happen is you could invest in one of them as you see one of them getting pumped, and then this coin or whatever one you invest in will start getting pumped, and then you'll make a little bit of a profit and then sell. Because if you look back at all of their charts, mostly they've got a decent amount of highs and lows, and they're timed kind of periodically about the same time. So they have normally about like a week and a half break in between like these pumps that go on. So you can kind of time them out. And in times like these, when the market's going down, you could buy the coin at a low price and make 2 to 3 times what you put into it. But you also have to remember, if you buy $10,000 of the coin and it goes up 3 times its price, you're going to have to somehow sell $30,000 of a coin back into a market that might only have a daily volume of $60,000. So you're going to have to do it very wisely. You're going to have to put your sell orders in the perfect increments for it to go right. And you can't really dump the coin unless you want to lose out on a lot of profit. So other than that, I think a coin, now I'm not endorsing any of these coins that I'm saying to buy into right now. I know that I've said that you always want to look what you're buying into a little bit before you buy into it, just to know that you're not buying into a coin that's completely collapsing because maybe one of the developers left, or there's a bug in the wallet, or something crazy happened, they got hacked. Something that I've seen a lot of spikes in the price is Veritasium. Oh, sorry, I got hit with a sneeze attack there for a second. But I always see these spikes in Veritasium, and up here you would have bought it at a high and kind of lost out, and you would have had one chance to redeem yourself. But if you go into smaller charts, like week-long charts, you can see that it has some decent peaks and valleys. I wanted to actually buy into this coin when it was down in like the 50s and $60, and I'm not going to hold on to it. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to set a bunch of alerts on my apps to alert me whenever the coin hits $80, $90, and I'm going to sell it. I'm not going to hold this coin because I don't see any future in it. So you could have bought the coin down here at under $60 for a little bit, and then you could have sold it up here for 80, 90. You had a little bit of a bump here, so if you would have gotten an alert at maybe $100 you had it set, by the time you would have maybe got on to sell your coins, you maybe would have got them in at the $90, $92 mark or something like that. So you still have room to make a profit. But you could have sold your coins there. You could have watched, set some alerts, and then bought back in when it hit down under this $70 mark. I don't think this coin is going to go well forever, but I think in times like this, when people are trying to pull a lot of their money out of the market, I think this coin could potentially drop back down low, and you're going to see these big fluctuations as well with a lot of coins. But there's a lot of people that kind of shill this coin and kind of try to push the price up all the time, so you have a larger chance of this coin spiking randomly. Other than that, pretty much any coins that you can grab that are on the low end of this price spectrum right now would be wise. As you can see, yesterday when I made my video, we were looking at, it was on Bittrex I think though, but most of the coins were in the negative 30s, negative low high 20s. Now we only have a few coins in the negative teens, and not very many coins are down at all. And what you're going to see is a lot of these coins are going to start to spike over the next week or so, because all this money is coming into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price is going to start to slowly go down, and people aren't going to want to pull their money directly back out into fiat money because they just put it into the market. But a lot of these people, probably this isn't a lot of new money, so it's not going to have a weak hand effect, but it's going to try to gain some of the profits that can be made off these low coins. So they're definitely going to be buying into these low priced altcoins, and these altcoins that are at the bottom of their dips that can definitely peak up and make you a big percentage. I think Salt also, I just like the idea behind it. The company is still kind of like getting itself together, so there's a lot of room for this to grow. And the company was selling coins for in tiers of 25 cents, 50 cents, $1.50, $3, $7.50, $10, $12, like $25. All these different tiers. Sorry. All these different tiers they were selling it at. So there are people who did invest at $25, which I'm not saying the coin's going to go back up to that, but that means there are people who think that this coin has the potential, or at least they think that this coin is good enough, there's a good enough product behind it, that they're willing to pay $25 for a coin, which doesn't mean that the coin is going to go to $25 at all. But it means that there are some people out there who are willing to pay that much for it. So if someone else would sell the coin for $25, that would possibly mean that other people were willing to pay that much for it. As long as the whole platform succeeds and everything that it says it's wanting to do and its goals are to do, as long as they all hold together and everything flows well, I see this coin is going up to what people paid for it, at least, of potentially $25. And if you pick that up at $3 now, you can make a, what is that, it's 8 times profit. So I'm not saying that it is going to go up to that. I'm saying that if there are people who are willing to pay that at one point, like if Bitcoin was to fall apart tomorrow and go to potentially $1, if it could do that, it would never stay at $1, because you had people who were willing to pay almost $6,000 for one. So if it's at $1, either the people that held it, picked it up at $6,000, are going to hold it because they have so much potential in it, or you have so many people who are going to want to just buy it because they know that there's potential in it. So that's what could possibly happen to any of these altcoins. You just have people who believe in the product and believe in the platform and the idea. And until some other ideas come out like this that can possibly lend you fiat money on your cryptos as a collateral, that you wouldn't even have to cash out any of your cryptocurrencies for any reason. If you wanted to buy a new car, but you're working your job as well as investing in cryptocurrencies, and you didn't want to sell your cryptocurrencies, but you don't want to go to the bank and deal with getting a loan from a bank and how much extra that's going to be. So you take out a loan from Salt. You give them maybe 4 Bitcoins, you go buy your car, and then you pay back your loan based on whatever you select your loan payback interest and time frame to be. And then you would just pay back whoever your lender was. And then as you paid back the loan, you would get your cryptocurrencies released back to you. I don't think actually they get released back to you. I think you pay the whole loan back. If you don't pay back the loan all at once, or not all at once, but if you miss a payment, they will take out some of your cryptocurrencies to make up for that payment. But after you pay for the whole loan, they will release your whole cryptocurrency amount back to you from the multi-sig wallet that it is kept in. So it's actually it's a pretty cool idea. Whether they can keep up with the whole idea and find lenders that are willing to lend fiat money on cryptocurrency, I'm sure there are, because even look, if you would have started lending earlier this week, you would have been up money if they wouldn't have decided to make any other payments. So that's what's really going to hold people to wanting to make these payments back. If I give you 1 Bitcoin today and it's worth $5,000, and you're holding my Bitcoin and it goes up to $15,000, that gives me more of an incentive to pay back that loan that I have, because I'm losing 3 times more than what I even invested in the first place, or what I put up for collateral in the first place, and it is completely not worth it. And this could cause people to possibly go out and put more crypto into another loan and take another loan out, and it could cause you to get in a bunch of like chaos of just different collateral loans you're taking off to pay more loans off. But in the long run, I see cryptos is just growing massively as a huge market, and as it grows as a market, all these other cryptos are going to grow too. And it's just not the time that you want to get rid of one of your cryptocurrencies. You have to always take into account, if you sell 0.1 Bitcoin today, or if I give away a Bitcoin today or buy something with a Bitcoin today, how much is that going to be worth tomorrow or next year? And is it potentially worth it to invest that much, or sell that much, or cash it off into fiat, when you could be potentially making 3 and 4 and 500 times more than what you've got in right now? Not 100 times more, 3 and 4 and 500% more than what you've got now. So 3 or 4 times more. So I think that's a reason why a lot of people are going to just dabble in cryptos to begin with. And as soon as someone gets into cryptocurrencies, it's so exhilarating. You just want to stay in it because you have something that is just growing. You're doing nothing. You can hold on to this and it is just growing in value for no reason. And it's great because the more people you tell it's an idea that you want to spread, the more people you tell, the more that your currency goes up. And it's a win-win for everybody. You have other people investing in this. You tell your friends, hey, buy Bitcoins. They tell their friends, everybody's buying Bitcoins. The price is going up. Everybody's winning. And that's why I have this channel, and that's why I'm trying to help out you and my friends and family and everybody that I can as much as I can, and trying to get everybody to just look into this whole market in general, because it's a great place. Look at these percentages. Could you make 133% of your investment that you made on anything over the course of 24 hours? Probably not. But you could if you would have invested in Rubycoin. And that's why cryptocurrencies are amazing. I don't even think stocks are going to do that. I've never seen it. You have Apple that's buying its touchscreens off Android, or not Android, off Samsung, and Apple's shares haven't rocketed up 100%. But I'm sure if Ruby Coin started partnering with LiteCoin or any of these other cryptocurrencies partnered together, they would go up 100%. So it's a crazy market to be in, and it's definitely something you, at this point in time, want to take advantage of. And I think everybody that's in it right now is financially going to be very happy in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, because you're getting your foot in the door for this first. And I want to help you keep your foot in the door and get your whole body in that door. And then we're going to buy the house that's behind that door. So at the end of the day, I think all you need to do is do as much research as you possibly can. And then after you're done with this, I think you should subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And then you need to go out and you need to watch more cryptocurrency videos. So that way you can learn as much as you can about all of these prices and all of this that's going on. And it's a great atmosphere, and you'll wake up every day happy. Trust me, even on down markets, you're going to wake up happy. Have a great day.